All right, folks, welcome aboard the Wednesday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. Breaking news as we go to air. Reports have it that Bowe Bergdahl, who was handed over or traded for, we sent 5 Taliban thug terrorists to the Taliban in return for Bowe Bergdahl. Reports are that in a half hour he will officially be charged with desertion. And not only with desertion, but he will be charged with cavorting with the enemy as well. So there you go. Joining us now to talk about this and get his reaction to it is Major General Paul Vallely. And, of course, he's chairman of Stand Up America. Hello, General.
Hello, Steve.
All right. Push has come to shove here. You and I have talked about this for the better part of a year now, and what's your reaction to these charges?
Well, we knew, I think, from the beginning, Steve, even from the testimony of the troops on the ground, that Bergdahl did abandon his post. He did desert over to the enemy, which was the Taliban. So now we're going to look at the announcement and the movement of the findings now, resulting in probably a courts-martial to be scheduled in the future for a number of charges. Abandonment of post, perhaps collaboration with the enemy that you mentioned in your opening, as well as the desertion.
All right, well, they're saying that it's quite possible that he'll be charged with a lesser form of desertion, described in the Uniform Military Code of Justice as leaving a post to avoid duty or shirk an important assignment. I mean, that's certainly not what we believe. I mean, what the evidence points to why he left his post.
Well, I think they're going to try to minimize this as much as they can, particularly from the White House, and if they influence the courts-martial judge in any way. We hope that they won't, that it'll be clean and fair. But this White House is known for its maneuvering and trying to influence these judicial matters. But the bigger part of the story, Steve, also is the 5 Taliban. What was negotiated for the release of those 5 Taliban for Bergdahl when they in fact knew at the time from the testimony that he had deserted his post and perhaps was cavorting and collaborating with the enemy?
And not only that, we lost soldiers, according to all accounts, in the 5-year hunt for this man.
That's right.
You know, the soldiers were forced to look for him and did look for him. And, you know, notwithstanding the fact that there were notes left, which were very, very disturbing in nature, they went out and people lost their lives and people got seriously hurt.
Well, that's exactly right. Lives were lost and others were put in harm's way going out on a kind of patrol or seek and find mission to find them and bring them back. But this is a big story, and we hope that justice will be served. But it's got to be embarrassing if the White House ever gets embarrassed about anything, which I don't think they do. The fact they brought his parents in from Idaho, and basically,
you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, this comes on the heels of Obama fighting like heck to dethrone, if you will, or kick out Benjamin Netanyahu. He lost that one. That comes after the November landslide, revolt against his policies. And now comes this, and you could bet they tried their best to make sure that this didn't happen. What exactly does misbehavior, because that's the technical term we're hearing, misbehavior before the enemy, which is that it's not cavorting. That was my word. So what does misbehavior before the enemy mean?
Well, basically, you're collaborating with the enemy. If they're interrogating you, you release information to them, you work with the enemy, you give up intel that would be beneficial to any kind of offensive operations conducted by the Taliban. And over that period of time, and the way he was treated, since he wasn't beheaded or taken out by the Taliban, that perhaps the collaboration charges will stand. But they've got to have good evidence to support that.
Yeah. All right, General, good to talk to you, sir.
All right, Steve.
All right, you take care. General Paul Vallely, ladies and gentlemen. This is about time. Again, we'll let you know when the charges are official, what the charges are. There was some fear that this would drag on and on and on, right up until the end of the Obama presidency, because he didn't want to be embarrassed by this. But apparently it's unavoidable. And apparently he will be embarrassed by it, at least, like we said, as much as Barack Obama can in fact be embarrassed. And I don't know exactly how much that is. We also have reports, and we're going to talk about this later with the panel, that Barack Obama has snubbed the NATO's chief, the chief of NATO, who's been in Washington for days and requested a meeting with Barack Obama. Now, I mean, what on earth is that about? Does he have better things to do than to meet with the head of NATO with all that's going on? I mean, a lot is going on, obviously. So we'll talk about that with the panel. We also have a Nebraska senator who is comparing, actually saying police are worse than ISIS. And if he had a gun, he would turn it on police. This man is an elected official, one of the longest serving elected officials in the state of, I believe it's Nebraska. Yes, state senator. I mean, and that comes, our friend James O'Keefe has gone undercover again, and he has allegedly a guy who is a dean in Cornell. That's Cornell University, not the Cornell pizza store somewhere, okay? And this dean says he would welcome an ISIS club on campus. ISIS! Does it seem to you like we are doomed if we don't turn this country around very soon? Because it seems that way to me. All right, lots more ahead. CNBC senior contributor Larry Kudlow will be with us next.